All right, so my name is Jhin. If you don't know me, so today I'm going to talk about MCP. Who doesn't know MCP? Who knows MCP? Okay, not many people. All right, so I like it. All right, so about me. So my name is Jhin. I am Flutter GDE, and I am, as you know, I am organizer of this meetup and also GDG Montreal. And I work for Unity as full stack developer. And I'm Korean, if you're wondering. I'm Asian, looking like. All right, so who's using AI? Who's not using AI? Not using AI, okay. So someone using AI, what do you do with it?
Coding.
Coding?
Develop projects on it.
Oh, okay. And what do you do?
To do my job.
Okay. What do you do?
Generate stuff.
Huh?
User stories.
All right. All right. So do you have any complaint about the AI?
Hallucinations.
Huh?
Hallucination.
Hallucination. And?
Unless prompt is good, it will keep running in the same, repetitive errors and all. So I think prompt is the main thing. So
Okay.
That's a big reason for it.
Okay. I still didn't hear my problem, but anyone want to share again? Huh? Context? Small context? Okay. That's very close to my problem that I'm going to talk about today. So I will talk about, okay, so AI, most of us, except two, we all use AI nowadays. So AI does great job. But the problem with AI, in my opinion, since it's my problem, AI doesn't know the real world problem. So let's say you have your file in your local the file system. AI doesn't know if it even exists. So let's say you have, okay, so you are using specific library, but AI doesn't know how to use that library because AI doesn't have memory. You always need to provide all the context to the AI, whatever it is, right? So you ask, he will answer it, but he cannot do anything else than you just answering question. So that's why I'm going to talk about MCP today. So MCP is like USB-C, basically. So meaning that it's kind of standard. So you can extend your AI feature to something else. So basically MCP server there is giving AI capability to, let's say, access Slack, access your Gmail, access your calendar, or local file system, or whatever. So basically, it's invented to provide context to the AI. But since there's a protocol, so you can plug different MCP servers to your AI, so they can have the more context. They can do whatever you want. Technically, you want, right? So let's say you want to open up browser. You ask to the AI, open up the browser. He will not do anything, right? He will say, I cannot do it because I'm just language model or something, right? But using the MCP, you can ask AI to open up the browser. So let's say one of your MCP server can communicate with browser. Then using the MCP server, your AI now have capability to open up the browser. Okay? Any question? You good? Right. So how does it work? So MCP has three key components. First one is host and client and server. Host means your AI application. For example, here I put some architecture there, like Cloud Desktop is one of the client MCP hosts, and the cursor editor, if you use it, then cursor editor is one of the MCP hosts, which is AI application that communicate with AI model. Okay? And there's a client. So client is the one embedded in your host application. So it open up the door to other MCP server. So your client can talk to other MCP servers, basically. Okay, so like I say, server. So server is the one actually does the job. So your AI is asking something to do the job, but actually MCP server is going to do it. Or MCP server will fetch the data and then provide it to AI application so AI can understand more context, the real world of the information, right? So you don't need to remember too much about this, but the MCP has two different transportation protocols. So between client and server, when they communicate, there's two ways. One is STDIO, the other one is the HTTP. So with HTTP, let's say your MCP server is deployed in a remote server, then your AI application connect to the remote server to communicate through the HTTP. STDIO is useful when you want to run your MCP server on your local machine. Nowadays, most of the MCP server is actually running on your local machine, so most of them is STDIO based. So you don't need to remember too much for now. All right, so MCP has three different key features. One is the tools. So you can ask MCP to do an action. Open up the browser, read a file, write the file, or whatever you want to do your AI to the action. Let's say we have the smart home here, and then you want to control your light, then your MCP will actually do the control, but through the AI. So you ask AI, then AI will use the MCP client to use the MCP server to actually control the light. So that's a tool. And resources, so you can provide information to the AI. So you want to provide more context. Let's say you have data in the database. Let's say you have data in the Google Drive or whatever. So you want to provide the data to your AI, then you can use the resource. All right. And next one is prompt. So you did amazing job to do the prompt engineering. So you have your perfect prompt, does some kind of the great job. So maybe you can make your MCP server with all the prompt that you have. And when you ask to the AI, then instead of using your prompt, you are writing it, AI will automatically find the perfect prompt, and then he will use it to do the better job. Okay? So there's three different key feature in MCP. So why does it matter? So with MCP, like I already said, we can provide real world of the information to the AI. So AI can understand more information. It can do more things. So make it smarter. So the other one interesting is vibe coding. So I don't know who doesn't know vibe coding now. Do you know vibe coding? Okay. Do you know vibe coding? So vibe coding, another word, AI coding, right? So you don't need programmer nowadays. Just ask AI to write the code. That's vibe coding, right? So why MCP is important for the vibe coding is that you always need to provide enough context to write good code for the AI, right? So as a human, it's the same thing. We need to go to Jira. What ticket is there? We need to read everything. You have the product requirement document, PRD. So you have to read it, and then you need to implement it, right? But with MCP, you will provide all this information automatically to the AI. Then AI now can do the code that you want to build instead of you. Okay? And yeah, it's future proofing. So basically, let's say you are making AI application yourself. Now you have the feature that you can, in your application, you can use AI, you can ask something to the AI model and so on. And then you might implement some kind of agentic feature that calling some function in your application and so on. But you want to extend it. So let's say you have AI application, but let's say your application mainly made just chatbot. But you want to control with a light, for example. Then the users can connect their MCP server that control the light to your application so that you can extend, the users can extend your AI application themselves. So cursor editor or like the root code or like the vibe coding famous AI enabled IDEs, they are supporting MCP. That way, they are connecting Jira MCP, they are connecting Figma MCP, they are connecting Google Doc MCP, they are connecting document MCP or whatever. So they are automatically fetching the information from different sources through the MCP that allow the AI to write the code they want. That's what they are doing, and that's actually happening. It's not the dreaming. Okay? All right, so what I want to introduce today is that MCP Dart. So this is a package that I built, and I already published it to the PubDev. So What it does is basically MCP SDK. So let's say you want to create MCP server using Dart language. You want to create MCP client using the Dart language. Then you can use this package. So the reason I create this package is that MCP is introduced by Anthropic. And Anthropic had official SDK for TypeScript, Java, C#, different language, but not Dart. So I just created one for the Dart community. So let's say you have the AI application you are writing in Flutter, but you want to integrate MCP feature in your AI application. Then you can use this SDK to implement MCP client feature in your application so that users can connect whatever the MCP into your application. Right. Yeah, it's open source, so you can have a look. There's the QR code if you want. And then you can just search MCP in the PubDev, then you will go there. Right, so the feature, I implemented everything. So all the full MCP spec. So from the basic features to all the advanced feature, I all implemented. So it's all fully capable. And it's really looking similar to TypeScript SDK because I basically converted it. So why I'm talking about keep vibe coding, right? Actually, I did vibe coding to create this package. So first version, I wrote it, just single one feature, the tools, and it took full 1 day. And then it was just only working for small jobs. And using the vibe coding technique, it took 2 days, let's say 2 or 3 days, I was able to fully implement full spec of the MCP because I was able to give for TypeScript SDK and then let AI to rewrite everything. And of course, I need to do a lot of debugging for sure, but I mean, it saved me a lot of time. Okay. So no more talk. I'm gonna do the demo now. Maybe I need to sit better. Yeah, sorry about that. All right. So, do you see the code? Too big? Too small? Like that? All right, so this is the MCP package that I created. And there's the exam folder. And I created bunch of MCP client and server example. Most of them is also generated, by the way, for your information. So what I want to show you is the basic example. It is the MCP server based on the stdio. So let me like that. So how to create MCP server is pretty easy. So you just define, I don't know if I can use, yeah, you do MCP server, you just initiate it, and then you just define what kind of feature you want to provide. Let's say resource, tool, and prompt. And you register your tool. So tool is basically name, description, and input schema, and then the function here, the callback. So basically, you are creating your own function there, and description and name will provide it as a context to your AI, because the AI need to find what kind of function is available, right? So that description is actually important there. So if you see the callback function, actual implementation of it is this one is just doing the calculate. So add, subtract, multiply, divide. That is you can see it in the input schema. So operation type, add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And the first parameter A is number. Second parameter B is number, right? Then this function is gonna get called with the argument. So I'm just getting the value of the operation and then two different variable, right? So I do the computation, and then I'm just returning it as text content. So that's it. So this is the simplest MCP server I created, right? So you can, just making this, you can also ask to your AI to create this code, right? And the other one is the client example. So MCP client is similar, but this one is the STDIO based communication, meaning that the client needs to spin up your MCP server himself. So that's why I'm using the Dart command. I'm running the code. So which is the server stdio.dart file, which we just saw it, right? And I'm giving all these parameters to the client instance, basically. So I need to create transport with the STDI client transport and so parameter or whatever I need to initialize it, and then just make an instance of client. And I can add some kind of error callback or callback for float and so on. But at the end, what I do is, let me see. Yeah, what I do is just connect after all. So this function will just initialize your client server, MCP client server, MCP client. I wouldn't say server, and then I can yeah. So what it does is it will start the application of the MCP server that I just show you, and then it will communicate with STDIO, meaning that you are just typing in the console. That's STDIO. So using that. First one, I'm sending the command for the ping. So it will return the pong from the server. And I am listing up all the tools available in the servers. And I'm listing all the resource and also prompt. And then eventually I call the tool. So do you remember that I show you the calculate MCP? So calculate MCP has argument or operation add. This example, I am just passing 5 and 10 for the argument, right? So meaning that what I'm expecting, MCP server is giving me the result with the 15, adding these two value, right? And I'm gonna print it. So yeah, and then the prompt and then research all the example. It's the same thing. So I'm gonna launch this application. Let's do that. Oops. Not the dictionary. Yeah, so you see, it initialized the client, and then it's sending the ping, and then it received the ping information from the server. He already got the return. And you remember that I told you that it's calling the listing the function. So you see, since the MCP server is returning this function, I'm just printing out here, and the resource prompt, and then you see, here the result. So this is actually calling the function in the MCP, and then I get the result, and I'm just printing out here. And then the prompt example, resource example, and then I just close the application. So this is the simplest version of the MCP client. Of course, if you want to implement MCP client in your AI application, it might be a little different. But this is the way of communicating between MCP client and server. Okay. So, next example that I want to show you is the actual MCP client that I implemented. Again, I used the AI to generate this application. So, not this one. So this is demo chat application that I created. I mean, AI created. And this is have capability to connect different MCP servers. So when I go to the setting page, I just give the Gemini API key because I'm using Gemini AI model here. And MCP servers. So here I'm using Playwright MCP and then GitHub MCP server because I want to show you the demo of using MCP servers that from external, already available, publicly available, right? And of course, I can also use my MCP server example that I wrote it, but Yeah, I already showed you, so let's see. So here, for example, let's say find MCP Dart and open it on the browser. So I am asking to find MCP Dart package that I created. So meaning that I had the GitHub MCP, right? So he will find the MCP the repository in the GitHub, and then I want to open it in the browser. You see, he's trying to sing something, search from the GitHub. Okay, he found, but the more candidate. So I'm gonna just say the first one. Then it open up the browser with the, since he knows the URL from the GitHub, he can open it on a browser. Or I can say like that here, click the okay, it didn't find the button there. Then let's say another one. Click issues. Okay, you cannot find it. But let's say open Google. So you can ask some actions to the AI application that does some action. So the MCP is making you this kind of capability. So yeah, it open up the Google page, and then I can ask a search and so on. Probably it may work or not, but yeah, you see the point. Yeah? Search. Let's try that. Okay, he couldn't find that, but probably I need to do more prompt engineering here. So if I give this more specific instruction, he may find it actually, because the Playwright MCP is providing the whole page in HTML to the AI model. So actually, if I give the right prompt, AI model will understand what to do. All right, so I already told you everything. So definitely, vibe coding is one of the biggest example that you can leverage in MCP. So use the Cloud Desktop, use the Cursor, use the Windsurf, or whatever the AI-enabled application with MCP. You can use it to create the code. Figma MCP is one of the example. So you give the Figma to your AI, and then the AI will implement your UI in the MCP, in the Figma design. I'm going to show you the demo after. So let's say you have the internal document that only the company can access. Those kind of information, you cannot just easily give the information to the AI, right? So you can create your own MCP to provide those information to your AI model. So your AI model will understand your company, the internal data. I already showed you Playwright, but you can do also, yes.
So for this MCP, you provide the documents with an MCP. How much is compared to RAG?
RAG. Okay. So RAG and MCP is completely different thing, because the RAG is running on the server side database to provide information to the AI model when you want to build agentic the AI, right? MCP is in your client side, basically. So as an end user, I can connect whatever the data I want. But RAG, you have to build your own RAG to provide this information. I mean, as a developer, you have to build your own RAG to provide this information, I mean, limited information to the AI, right? But this one is opening all the capability to the end user.
could actually migrate it to an ACP, have my own server to people see my video language.
Yes, but in certain context only. So let's say your rack have information of the GitHub repository. Then your rack can provide the information of the GitHub, right? But with MCP, you can directly access to the GitHub in the client side. And let's say you only built the GitHub, but now I want to have the information from the Figma. Then you want to build another rack only for that, right? So with MCP, you are opening the door to the end user to connect whatever the MCP server. That's basically the concept. So it's the standard protocol to open up, not to close it. But RAG is more like closing, in my opinion. And yeah, and then you can also use the MCP to do the E2E testing. So you open up your application in Playwright, and then let AI automatically click different places, and then the AI will collect the log, and then it will automatically debug in your code bases. That's even also possible. Yeah. Right. Another demo with vibe coding. I hope this is gonna work, but we'll see. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to search Figma, yeah, mobile app template. Basically, what I want to show you is that using the Figma MCP, how AI automatically create the app. That's what I want to show you. Yeah, it's really slow here, the network, so I'm not sure it's gonna work properly. So let's see. I'm just opening random Figma design. It's really slow. But in the meantime, I'm gonna show you my setup. So what I have, what I'm gonna use is a root code. It's just like the extension that you can use in the VS Code. And I just plug the Gemini API, Gemini 2.5 Flash. That way I can use it for free. And I have the different MCP server I registered in my root code. So first one, fetch, context 7, that fetching the latest document. First fetch is fetching from the HTTP endpoint, whatever the data. And memory, I don't really use it. Desktop, I don't really use it. GitHub and Playwright, I already show you. And I have the Figma MCP. That's the most important piece that in my demo. All right, now it's open. So let's implement login page. So I'm just copy the link of the page in the design. And I'm going to open up the application. So this is application, basic Flutter application, right? So from this, I'm going to just say that I'm just providing the link, and then I don't even give any context. I'm just saying that implement this Figma URL. That's what I'm saying. Yes. So it's asking me the permission because he doesn't want to mess up. But I can also make it automatic approve, but I just want to make sure all the time. Just reading some stuff, and then now he is already modified some code. Yeah. Okay, it's writing code.
It's in dark.
Sorry?
On Figma, it's always in dark. The code, I mean.
No, not it.
Then it's the body.
Figma is based on the Node.js, I think. Yeah.
Even for mobile apps.
But the MCP is standard protocol. So whatever the language, if you implement the protocol, then you can use it in any MCP-enabled application. So root code, I don't know what language you use, but the root code implement MCP client in, I don't know, whatever the language. And then Figma MCP is implemented in Node.js. So I'm not demoing my MCP, the MCP Dart here, but I mean just showing you some kind of, wow demo, right? Because the Figma MCP is some kind of, people always talking about nowadays. So yeah, so he already created one file, all the code is written. I'm gonna save it. So it's doing the next one. In the meantime, you can review your code, right? So if you're the developer, you should be able to read the code. You need to verify it, even if it's generated, right? So everything is written okay, maybe not that, okay. Okay, so there's a trouble with something. Well, okay, try it anyway. Because of network is a little sluggish, I'm not actually sure that he will complete it, but we will see. Figma MCP.
There's only one, or like a specific?
There's only one famous one. So actually, there's two different Figma MCP. One is to prompt to create design.
Prompt to design?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then what I'm using is that from MCP to code.
Nice.
So yeah, he's also writing some more code there. Okay, so I wish I have bigger screen.
While it's loading, how safe are MCPs? Because some people like make their own MCPs. So I'm always skeptic when I include them in my like cloud or browser. I'm safe.
So
how safe are they? Like how to know that it's not stealing your data or anything?
yeah, that's really good question. So what I recommend is always use stdio based. Yeah, so that you are make sure that the MCP is running on your local machine. So the MCP doesn't steal any of your data, right? So that way you can have minimum security, I would say. And the other way is that you need to make sure that your model is running on the cloud, right? And then using the MCP, you're providing all the data to the cloud anyway, no matter what. Even the AI model doesn't have the memory. The cloud may collect your data. So you always need to make sure that the AI model you are using is safe enough. And also make sure that your company inspect everything. Because if you are working for the enterprise, then it's always a problem. I work with Unity. We don't approve any AI model, actually. We only approve some specific models. We can use it in specific cloud.
Which is
Specific model.
specific.
Yeah. So Cloud 3.7, Cloud 3.7, we can use it. But in our internal cloud, we cannot go outside of it. So you always need to make sure that your AI model is running in the secure place, right? Yeah, just keep writing, let's say. I think, yeah, it's too slow, I know.
Certainly.
Yeah. I think I still have 8 minutes, so let's try to do maximum. Sir? There's no length. There's no limit. Yeah? I already see 376 lines generated.
That'll be like what, 6 pages?
I think this one is only on one page that I gave, right? So it's only one page application. If you want to see again design, just login page, right? So I didn't give too much complexity because I want to make it quick, but apparently because the network is so slow. But yeah, but there's no limit about that. Always you have the context limit. So let's say if you use Gemini 2.5, then you have 1 million tokens, the token limit. So you are always limited by token input and output. But thanks to the agent mode, he will automatically manage it. So if it's using too much token, so you see here, I used the 170K token out of 1 million yet. So I still have a bunch of buffer.
Push it, push it.
Yeah.
Is this VS Code?
Yeah, it's VS Code. So this one is root code. It's the extension that you can use the agent mode with it. Yes, but that's not free. No, that's not free. You have a limit. You have a limit. And okay, so the problem I have is that I have this, I even have subscription, but I have Copilot subscription from the company. We don't allow any preview feature. But the Copilot MCP feature is preview. So I'm not allowed to use it. Copilot agent is the GA, but the MCP is preview. So let me show you. Here, normally you have the MCP server stuff, but I don't see it. Maybe they do. No, they don't. So that's why I use the root code. Yeah. But I use Copilot agent a lot actually. For at my work, I use Copilot the agent mode to do my Golang job. I'm not sure it's gonna complete actually. But okay, so I don't think I can complete this one. But based on my test, I tested different the Figma the design, and it's not perfect, but it creates at least really similar, so that allow you to start from there. So yeah, I really wanted to finish this MCP demo with it, 5 coding demo, but yeah, I showed you Billy just a few hours ago actually. You can do that too. So in the Figma design, let's say you have the frame, and then in the frame you have the multi-page. Then you can give the link of the frame to the AI. Then AI will generate multiple pages. So that's different thing. So that's not part of this the talk, but there's a way you can provide the rules to the AI tool. So if you have your own design system, let's say you have your own organization rule to have structure your code basis, how to make clean and so on, you can provide them as a rule. But maybe I can do another talk about 5 coding specifically for that. But today it's not. All right, so I'm gonna stop it here. I really wanted to show you that, but once it's done, it's gonna create quite similar design, all the UI. So you are supposed to see everything here, but yeah, maybe after Boris, maybe I will try to make it work, and then I will show you.
You have something ready, like a finished project. You have your application ready.
I don't think so. Let's see. No, I don't have any. I mean, I remember that when I tested, I saved that in a branch, but I don't have it. But maybe after the session, I will try to make it work, and then I will show you. So yeah, almost there. So yeah, so MCP Dart. So it's open source. You can contribute. You can try out. Go just search MCP in PubDev. You will see my package, and then go to the example. You try out, and then you can try to connect with the Cloud Desktop, Cursor, WinServe, root code, whatever you like it. Try out, and then build your own MCP server or client. If you have any issue, let me know, or you can create PR or anything, right? All right. Just for the recap, AI is great, but AI is not perfect. So you need to provide the real world information so that AI can be more smarter. So using the MCP, you can provide that. Since we are now here Flutter or Dart developers, now we can build MCP server or client using the MCP Dart. And yeah, MCP enables like vibe coding or something, make it interesting demo. Not only demo, actually, I use AI agent to create at my work. So I mostly do the Golang at work, but I use agent to create most of the code. Okay, and yeah, the future is context aware. So using the MCP, you can provide context to the AI. All right, thank you very much. This is my LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with me, it's here.
Jhin,
Yes.
MCP for design. What is it? Did you remember?
Let me find that, then I will let you know. So if you just search Figma MCP, probably you see only two. So, okay, let me find it for you. Yes.
What's the quality of the project?
So it depends on, I mean, today I didn't talk about the rules, right? But if you give the nice enough rules that you want to achieve your code quality, actually the AI generate code quality is actually good. But it depending on your prompt at the end.
So if you have a good proper thing, you would trust someone with no engineering experience to put it in a pretty big project.
No, I mean if you are not, I mean, engineer principle must be still there. Even you use vibe coding or whatever, you still need to be an engineer. Maybe you can try out, but you cannot go to the
My
production.
question is because these other tools like Figma as well, and they before like all these areas, they also have like, convert this to an iOS code. Right?
Yeah.
Every time I see it, I'm like, I've never used it before.
Yeah.
That was why I wanted to see it.
So the AI, the chatbot demo that I show you, that is done by AI. And then just to make that functional, it took, let's say, 2 hours. I was able to create everything. I was able to fix all the bugs, but I didn't like the code structure at the end. So I had to spend another 2 days to refactor all the code. Well, of course, I still used AI, but since I have the architectural knowledge, so I was able to give the better prompt to have the more organized code. Maybe one more question? No? No? No more question? Thank you.